is Lori Kerfiers, and we are at the Prairie Renaissance Cultural Alliance tonight in Morris, Minnesota. And tonight our artist is Dani Laine Patton, and she is in the Morris area and has lots of art and things to share with you. She is an eclectic artist. She likes to do photography and some fiber arts and painting and lots of things. So let's turn it over to Dani to hear a little bit about her process and her work tonight. Welcome, Dani.
Hi. I don't have a process per se. So like tonight, the exhibit is titled Moments in Your Life. Just driving down the road, there are moments that just sneak out at you, like a sunbeam hitting a flower, or your daughter sitting in the sunshine. All these moments just hit you. And that's when I have to stop the car, have to stop what I'm doing and just take a picture. That's my photography. And art-wise, it's just sitting and painting whatever comes to my mind. In my brain, I have extreme ADHD. My doctor I work with would absolutely understand this and see this every day. But I have 100 things going through my brain, but when I sit in front of a canvas with a brush, I have nothing. And that's like amazing in a day of doing 100 different things. To just sit and brush and paint. And that's my style. That's my thing. So
are you drawn to any particular colors or textures or media? Or...
I love painting with spray paint and acrylic for details because of the brightness it pops, the colors. Not any particular one color, but all colors.
So with the spray paint, do you use, like you go to the hardware store and get a can of spray paint? Okay.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. So do you have a space set up in your home or to do this? I'm picturing like a cardboard box corner or something like we would go to work.
During the summer, you'll see me outside of my house, like cracking cans. And that means like I'll take a can opener and just crack a can of spray paint and just spray a bunch of canvas. So if you see a crazy lady just spraying canvas out in the front yard, that's me. In Cyrus. And so that would be like the bottom part, the first layer of my canvas. And then I use acrylic to use details and make an actual picture. Yeah, that's how I do that. With pictures, like photography, I could be just doing anything. And then something will catch my focus. And I'll have either my Canon or my cell phone. It doesn't matter. And I just record it.
So do you happen to stumble upon these images, these moments? Yeah. And that's how you collect your photography? Or do you say, today I'm going to go on a photography mission and I'm going to go and see?
Most of the time it is like a stumbling upon the moments, but a lot of the time I use my kids, my girls as a focus. We like to dress up. We like to go to random places. We like to go hiking, and just find different places.
Dani, do you have a favorite or two in this photography exhibit?
I do. I have actually 3 favorites. Okay. So my favorite one is this one has little lines, and it's called Lost. And because like everybody feels lost at some point in their life, and I think visually it definitely explains that. And then
what is that, Dani? Is that
like it was
cattle shoots or
it was a maze in Fort Worth. Yeah, in the actual maze. I was up on like this tower looking down and watching my kiddos try and find a way out. And I just loved that moment in my life right there. My second favorite, it's called Senectitude. It's my grandfather's hands. he was an old farmer. He recently passed, and I got to spend a moment with him, and it's just quiet, just sit and just be with him. And I got to take a picture of his hands. It just shows how, like, the hard worker he was, you know. And then my other favorite would be over here, and it's just simply roasting a marshmallow. It's called anxiety, because sometimes you just feel burnt and the fire takes over. So those are my three favorites, at least.
So do you have a favorite medium? I mean, you work in many mediums. Is there one that?
The spray paint and the acrylic and canvas. I love painting, just sitting and painting. That's my favorite. Mhm.
So does the photography just sort of fit in and, you know, throughout your processes, or did the photography come early or later? You know, how does it fit in with all of the different things you've done?
In between. Yeah, I don't think I've ever picked up a camera and said, I'm just gonna do this. I was just always like, I've always like enjoyed it. I don't know, just in between everything.
Do any of the photos ever translate into a painting or into something else, or are they sort of their own thing?
A few photos have translated into a painting. Actually, my sister who is also a glass artist, she actually took this picture and made it into one of her art pieces. And that was awesome to be kind of a collaboration with my sister on that one. Yeah. But not in my, I mean, I've taken some pictures and did some art pieces off of that, but that's the only one that I can think of that I thought was pretty cool.
Your frames are really cool.
My father helped me make those frames, so I have to definitely say thank you to him about that. He did a lot of hours helping me cut those out and putting them together.
Dani, can you tell us a little bit about how your art fits with your day job? I've heard you talk a little bit about this, and I think it's an interesting story to capture.
So my day job, I'm a nurse, and I love my job. Don't get me wrong, I love my job. But it also comes with like a lot of stress, a lot of day-to-day things. So the art actually helps relieve some of that stress, leave it at the door sometimes, and continue. You know what I mean? Just to be able to, you know, they always say when you come home, obviously leave the stress and everything at the door. Sometimes it's not that easy for that transition. But I come in, do the dishes, sit down, start painting, and then I can have a conversation usually, so that I can wind down and relax for the evening. Any other questions?
So you're mostly self-taught, right? So
Yes.
How did you get into it? And how did you learn?
You know, when I was younger, my bedroom was in the basement of a house. And in my high school years, I was awkward, still kind of awkward, but I was very awkward. And I would spend a lot of times in the basement of my house, and I would paint on the walls. And my mom and dad would take a picture, and then we'd whitewash the walls and paint. But I never actually, took any classes or anything like that. I always wanted to, but I never did.
In your painting there, I always sense a religiosity aspect to it. Is there something there, or is it just my take, what I'm seeing?
I think it depends on my moods. You know, if I'm feeling more serene, or if I'm feeling more, I don't know. I think it just depends on my moods on how I'm painting.
What other galleries are you, what other galleries or shows do you?
I love the spirit room up in Fargo. The people who, are in that, are very good with communication, and I like talking with them. So I have a lot of pieces up there as well. So I like working with them. Who else? I think that's really it.
You were exhibiting through the Lake Region Arts Council.
That's right. Yeah, in Fergus about a year ago. Yeah.
And I read you were named an emerging artist.
Yes,
for-
a year ago,
congratulations.
it was one of 5 emerging artists. Yes. Yeah, that was a very proud moment.
So Dani, just to kind of go back, you were talking about painting and, your love of color,
Mhm.
but you have quite a few black and white photos. I was just curious about that.
I think the black and white sometimes like expresses the story I'm trying to say a little bit better. Like, it won't, like, I felt like color would take away more of the emotion, especially like grandpa's hands. I like the black and white,
Mhm.
and then the joy, you definitely see, especially with the contrast, you see the kids having more fun, like swinging on the swing, and you just see so the color doesn't take away.
And I like both, but I am a big fan of the black and white, and you have some great images, and I think it's interesting, kind of your thought process about why you went that direction. That makes sense. Thank you.
What haven't you explored yet, Dani? What are you looking forward to diving into? Something new or a different spin on something?
What would I like to do? I think sculptures, more sculptures, pottery. I've always been a love-hate relationship. Whenever I did a pottery and it went into a kiln, I'd be like, it's gorgeous. And then it'd come out and it's all broken and in pieces. So I would love to work on that a little bit more in the future.
Any other questions that folks have?
Do your daughters paint? Or-
They are amazing artists.
Really?
Yes, look for them in the future. They are great. Lily, I foresee as maybe like a graphic designer. She does some amazing watercolors, and then Kiera does a lot of sketches and paintings that I love. Yeah.
And the girls are alums of our art.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A brief commercial announcement.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you have a show up in the spirit room right now, you said?
Yep. It's a Charles Dickens Tale of Two Cities, because it became public domain this year. So I have a few like Marie Antoinette paintings, and then some texture sculptures hanging from the walls there. Yeah.
So is this your first photography show?
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you for asking me, guys. I appreciate it. Speeches aren't my favorite thing.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Well, thank you very much, Dani, for exhibiting with us and for being here tonight, and to all of you for joining us, and to the folks online. Stop down to the PRCA. The exhibit will be up through May 6th. And you can see this artwork and other artwork from different artists in our sales space. Thanks so much for joining us.